rally scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Is it coming? Is it needed? Or will we, because I think, if we ask the powers that be at Major League Pickleball, rally scoring is inevitable. And a lot of people would say that.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that. What do you think about rally scoring?
Do you still think it's inevitable?
I think that if you want to, particularly for broadcasting, if you want to understand that a typical match takes on average, an hour or something like that, and you need to fit X matches into a broadcast, then yes, you need to have some finite guidelines around how long a match is going to take. That was always my understanding of it and why we would eventually move to rally scoring. What do you think?
I think more than that, because believe it or not, we're talking to every network, and we've been on most of the networks up to this point. Are we still trying to find an official home for pickleball at some point? Sure. But they're not as worried about our time frame and fitting in a short amount of period. We've never had a problem with it in the past. It's still somewhat easy to gauge. You look at other sports like baseball, when is it going to end? I don't know. So, but you are pickleball, and you got to know who you are. And TV partners, they do say, hey, you've got a 2-hour window, fit in your 2-hour window.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing if we go over and we're able to move the viewers somewhere else, especially if it's a platform that we own, that we control. It's a good business idea. But I think rally scoring becomes really, really appealing to me is simplicity, the overall simplicity of the game. How do we grow more players, and how do we get more people to play the game, understand the game? Because I don't want to speak for you two, but I know me, I grew up playing a lot of sports. And when I first played pickleball, I felt dumb. I didn't understand it. It took me some time. I did.
You and me both.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I like to think I'm a pretty confident person too, and I'm like, I didn't know what was happening. I remember playing with Connor Ogden. I played in a tournament with Connor Ogden. For of you that don't know Connor Ogden, he's one of my best friends. Also works at the PPA Tour, and the kid wouldn't even call the score. He would just look at me, And so I think for simplicity, I think there's some things that make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But broadcasts, I don't know if it really matters all that much. But I think where we're at today is MLP's done an awesome job making a unique, awesome format. And, we're working with those guys. That's something that we're talking about all the time. How much things do we want uniform, and what things do we want special and unique? And I'm kind of undecided. And I think the PPA group would be undecided. And we're not married to either one.
Right.
I think we're kind of in the wait and see mode.
Okay. Interesting.
I think we should go to tennis scoring. I think we need to go 15, 30, 40.
What do you prefer? Rally?
I like rally scoring a lot better. I think it's the only thing I dislike about rally scoring is I wish that there could still be side switching to enable stacking. And
stacking's so fun. You just see something a little new and more movement.
For sure. And there's an interesting strategy piece of stacking, which is important, especially when returning serve. Like, do we take the risk? Is our
starting in a stack?
Exactly. Is our ideal position worth the risk of somebody hitting a drive down the line? And that balance, I think, is interesting, especially for people who like more athleticism, right? Watching somebody sprint across the court in doubles is stacking allows for more interesting starts to the point, I think. So I would love to see a rally scoring format that we can have some stacking, but I'm a big fan of rally scoring for simplicity's sake, and again for just think about amateur players waiting in a paddle stack, when's
this match going to end?
Right, exactly.
We've all been there with our paddle up, hoping that these courts, I hope that match finishes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you don't even know if they're telling the truth. They might just
for sure.
Right?
I've definitely played some long games where we've been pretending the score is 16-16 or whatever. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's brutal. I think it's good for the masses. It's a small barrier to entry for some people in a sport that otherwise lacks basically any barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say I'm pretty pro rally scoring. And I forgot exactly what the analysis was, but Steve and I actually talked about rally scoring.
Oh, it's really close too.
The worry is that like a better player won't win as much because you're playing potentially lesser amount of points. I forgot what the analysis was called, but basically it showed like the better player is normally going to win X amount. Let's say that's 60% of the time. And then with rally scoring, it drops to 58. Like it's a very, very minuscule,
Interesting.
very minuscule drop in the
And
percentage.
Brian Levine, like the best guy. He is so analytical with a lot of the stuff. He sent me something over the other day too, showing how it works. And it's really interesting. And I think it's something we're kind of in the wait and see mode over here. And I think LMLP is doing a great job. And I think it makes it very exciting and very fun. So kind of undecided.